All right, first and foremost, do we have audio this week? Yes, we do.
Yes.
Sweet. That's
Yes,
off
we
to a
do.
great start.
Let's go.
Better start than last week already. Whoop, whoop. All right, welcome everybody. Happy Sunday. It is Sunday evening, everybody's favorite day of the week, everybody's favorite hour and a half of the week because you get to spend it with us. And why wouldn't you just love that? Couple quick housekeeping items. First and foremost, I didn't get a chance to do this last week because the follow bot and there was a lot going on at the end of the stream last week. Tumblers. Check out Perky and Feisty AF. She makes some awesome tumblers. These things are sweet and they glow in the dark and they're badass. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna give her a shout out right now. Right meow. There it is.
Oh, I got one too.
Do you, oh, you do have one.
I have one, yeah, and it glows in the dark.
It does glow in the dark. It is.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part. And I realized that I didn't think mine did until after the show last week because I was drinking out of it last week. And after the show last week, I had it sitting somewhere in the living room. And when I came back down in the morning and it was dark, my cup was glowing. I'm like, dang, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, you can't lose it.
Well, drink enough. You never know. I don't know that.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, challenge accepted. I'm not sure. The show tonight brought to you by Texas Select Seasoning and the new sponsor, Carolina Bass Co. So we got both of those logos on, and I'm going to show y'all. Here we go. Texas Select. I cannot wait to use this. I'm going to use this weekend on my meat weekend. I cannot wait.
Over your meat.
This juicy pig is going to be all over the place in my mouth.
You get a shaker for it yet?
No, I haven't gotten any other care packages from him yet.
No, you'll have to buy a shaker because you got.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'm probably gonna vacuum seal most of it.
Okay.
That way, the air doesn't get to it and it doesn't become hard as rock. Because
that
thing 4 pounds is a lot.
Good. That thing seals.
That's a lot, right? Like
it is a lot. It is a lot. He's already treated us very well. And is next week the week? I got to look. I don't have my calendar up. I think next week.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think next week is the week that he's Mr. Wild Bill is going to be out with us. I can't.
I'm so excited about this.
Jazz hands.
Jazz, like a little schoolgirl, like it's home ec class, except with cooking things I want to eat. Right? Oh,
it's going to be so good, and it'll be perfect timing because I'll just have spent 2 days smoking meats, so it's going to be great. I'm excited for that. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click that wherever direction it is, subscribe, like, and comment. And if y'all watching on Twitch haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, it's Cast and Camo TV. I think there's a link on our Twitch page. And if you're watching on YouTube, we are live on Twitch under Cast and Camo every Sunday night when we do this show. And you can catch all of us, shameless plug for each of us, Chief Fox TV, twice a day, every day, 6 days a week. Fish Soccer, whenever the weather's not 117 degrees, he goes fishing for a bunch of different things. And I'm all over the place. I try to hunt and fish when the weather and time allows. But check us out on Twitch if you're watching on YouTube. You never know, you might like us. And then the last housekeeping item. Probably going to run this stream for like an hour and a half, a few different nights during the week this month, because we need to, if we want to get affiliate, which I guess that is one of the starting goals. We need to hit so many days per week. And if we just stream on Sundays, we're not going to hit that. So just be aware that if you see Cast and Camo has gone live, I'm going to ask permission from Mr. Chief Fox to play some of the Catfishing America videos from YouTube. And if you want to watch some of that,
come out. Just,
yeah.
If you want to see Chief in some smexy fishing shirts catching big catfish, that's my life goal right there. I mean,
that black and yellow shirt, I want one so bad. I do.
Like I'm gonna have to look it up and see if I want to be Chief Fox for Halloween.
That's not a bad idea. Fish, you might be onto something here.
We could all dress it.
You're either on something or you're onto something. I think you're onto something.
Hmm?
I like it.
I married Martha Stewart. Might be able to make this happen. I don't think.
You married Martha Stewart?
I did.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
How was that 7 years alone when she was in prison?
Silent and nice.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Sex. That's right, Joker. Thank you very much.
Well, maybe Fish can go as Chief Fox and I can go as Bobby Go Fast.
Oh.
Idea. That's an idea. Anywho, tonight's topic. I know this topic is going to be near and dear to some people's hearts. Sadly, it's not as near and dear to my heart because I just haven't done enough of it. But we're going to talk catfish tonight. A bunch of different things about catfish. Some things that y'all are probably going to know, and maybe some things you don't know, and maybe we're all going to learn a little bit of something. I'm going to put the two catfish experts on the panel.
There's one expert and one guy I like to throw the kitchen sink at him. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna put these guys to the test. I came up with a very strenuous list of true and false questions. I like your odds. You got a 50% chance, except on Mondays, then it's only a 33% chance, true and false. But tonight it's Sunday, so you get a 50% chance, true and false. And as we kind of talk about or go through some of these questions, we can have some discussions about whatever that question and the answer is, because there's some controversy. I put some controversy in here. Can't just let you guys off easy.
Now,
I know. Well, you should be. So let's start out. What would you say are the big three for catfish? What are the big three?
Which one?
What do you mean, like this? What kind of catfish?
Yeah.
The type of catfish, I think.
It's got to be blues, flatheads, and channels, right?
It's
correct.
There is. Yeah.
I mean,
well, it is not the only thing there is.
But that's the only thing there is for me. Bullheads, I will catch bullheads to use as bait. That's it.
Well, there's other catfish. Well, is there other catfish really in the U.S.?
Yes, there is.
There?
Well, especially if you go to Florida. I mean, they have like armored catfish.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Catfish,
saltwater catfish, sail catfish.
Yeah,
that's true. Well,
and they call corn dogs. Three, I don't know.
The big three are the blue cats, the channel cats, and the flatheads.
If we lived in Europe, we could call the Wells catfish our top one.
Always wanted to catch a Wells
catfish.
Hold bucket list.
Hold that thought, boys. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get
catfish.
I know. Ooh, catfish. Everybody gets so excited. Now, and again, just a reminder for those of you listening to just the audio or watching on YouTube, we are live on Twitch, so there's going to be some comments and questions that we might bring up from chat from our live stream. And one of the things, this isn't even on my agenda, but I see Joker says, I see him in chat. I have to ask this question. Joker went and bought the biggest net I've ever seen. Like, he could fit an entire village in this net. Is this net, is a big net like that, is that necessary? I know partially is for carp. I get it. But if you're going catfishing, do you need a net the size of Rhode Island? That's my first question.
Yes.
I think Joker would probably disagree with that fish. I bet he'd change his mind now. Because I watched him try to weigh fish, and the net is actually longer than his body.
I'm not sure I've seen this net.
Oh yeah,
you haven't seen the net?
Oh, it's
Joker, just hold it up in the air, and he'll be able to see it from Texas.
Like, I've been in there, but it's never been like, a lot of times in there, he's not actually catching a fish. It's like, I just caught a fish. I'm like, well, my timing's horrible.
Yeah,
I know he's catching all kinds of fish, but
that helps out a lot for weighing him. What he has now, Joker just said in chat that he has a sling.
The sling.
Oh, life hack! If you don't want to pay a lot of money for like the carp slings, go into Amazon and buy a calf sling. It's the same thing, and it'll work for catfish and carp. They're
calf,
for like
as in cow.
Like a baby calf. It's like the same thing. And it's got the 4 clips. I have one out.
Really?
But it's fraction of the price.
Interesting.
I'm sorry. Random.
Well, no, nothing to be sorry about. I had, first of all, I had no idea that they put calves in a sling to weigh them. But I mean, I've seen these slings all over the place, and they seem like, don't they use them for muskies too, Chief? I think a lot of people swear by them for muskies. They don't want you to take the muskie out of the water.
So a lot of times, like when we muskie fished, I used the seines, the minnow seines that you walk down the stream with.
Yeah.
And get minnows. I would take it, shorten it up on the 2 sticks, and then slide it out in the water, and we'd pull the fish in, the muskie in, and you just close them 2 sticks up and pick the muskie up and walk out of there with it. It's a lot better, and it's a lot easier to release that muskie too.
Well, if you're walking out with it, why are you actually releasing it?
Yeah, you're stepping up the bank so you can get away.
Oh, I gotcha.
Measure it, just take pictures of it, whatever, and then put it. We try not to touch the fish. You don't want to take the slime off of any of your fish.
I've seen some crazy contraptions on side of boats, like clear like little tanks on the side where they leave the muskie in them to like let them revive or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
That's okay. That's muskie.
Yeah.
It blew my mind the first time I saw something like that. I'm like, what is this? I've never gone muskie fishing.
Yeah. Well, we need to change that.
Oh yeah. Not much muskie fishing here in Texas.
Well, you should just come up to Minnesota in the summer when you can't fish because it's 175 degrees. You can come up here and you can fish for muskies with me.
Muskies are also the fastest game fish alive. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
There's no way that's true. That's no way that's true. Have you ever heard of like a swordfish? Or there's no way they're faster than tuna.
I'm talking about freshwater fish.
Okay, well, you didn't say freshwater.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what we fish. Do you fish saltwater?
I did when I was younger. I missed.
But I'm talking now. So anyway, they have a very short burst. They can't keep up the speed, but they can go from anywhere from 40 to 60 mile an hour. Very short bursts. So like if you're bringing in a lure, that's why I was talking about last week when you are fishing in the prop water of your boat. Them fish, you can do, we've trolled at 7 mile an hour for muskie, and they smack it. They got really short bursts, but they're really fast. You can't outreel a muskie.
Oh, I believe that.
Troll at 20 plus miles an hour. Sorry, Chuckler says in chat just said that and it just blew my mind. 20 plus mile an hour for muskie?
Yeah, but it's wild. And the explosion is incredible to see that when you're going at 15 mile an hour and they hit. It's unreal.
I wouldn't know. I've never had one hit. I'd like to. Someday. Cross my fingers. All right. True and false game. Dun, 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 dun. It's your favorite game show on Twitch and YouTube. It's the true and false catfish game. Dun, dun, dun. We tried to hire Vanna White.
Please, have Vanna for us.
Yeah, she's on strike right now. She called the lawyer.
Well, you get in a nice little dress and ask us these questions.
Right. My sequence is gone.
Well, we can wait.
Right. Question 1. Catfish are only bottom dwellers. True or false?
Talking to us, or are you talking to chat? Oh, false.
No, you're playing this game.
False.
You're the experts.
Yeah, all right, definitely false.
I'm going with false.
I'm going with false.
So what now you're talking to a non-catfishing guy. I know very little about the catfish game. So because I would have thought the answer to that was yes. But that's my ignorance. That's my lack of experience fishing for catfish. What changes for them? Is it the time of year, the water temperatures, or is it just they are just scavengers, so they're going to go up and down and wherever they want to go?
Wherever the bait is.
Wherever the bait is.
Okay.
And like I said, like I was talking about last week, I've had them hit crankbaits. I've caught catfish this time of year when I'm doing, I like to go a lot of white bass fishing. I've caught several catfish with little swim baits because they're up in there eating the shad just like everything else.
Okay.
But I understand a lot of people think
surprised
they're
me.
just bottom because most people,
Yeah.
when you fish for catfish, especially if you're off the bank,
So
it's
did
off
you
the
look
bottom,
this up,
right?
Alexis, on whether we're right or wrong? I mean, did you do your
Yes.
research? All right. So
Absolutely, I did my research.
Are we keeping score? Like, is
Yeah,
there
we
just gonna be
gotta
a
keep
winner at the
score.
end, or
Yeah,
Well,
we get a ball cap, okay?
okay. I wasn't planning on keeping score, but we can definitely try.
okay?
Go ahead.
Only catch catfish at night. True or false?
False. I do love fishing for them at night, but no.
So okay, I knew this one was false because obviously I've seen plenty of catfish get caught during daylight hours. But what makes the catfish turn on so well at night, like the bigger ones? Because it seems like, now again, I'm going strictly off of what I've seen on Twitch, mostly Soggy Wonka Customs. Shout out to Soggy Wonka Customs. And I fished with him on a few occasions, and it seems like the big fish and most of the bites come at night. Now, we were fishing for flatheads. Does it vary by flatheads, blues, or channels? Is the fishing better at night, or is it just a coincidence?
On the flatheads, you are better at night than you are in the daytime. I've caught 10 times more flatheads at night than I've ever caught during the daytime.
But why is that?
Because they're most active at that time. I think in the daytime, I think they do a lot of just laying around being lazy, and then they start feeding. Just about dusk, you will start getting hit by flatheads. And it just seems the Ohio River up by Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia end of the river, where I've done a lot of fishing for flatheads and caught tons of them up there. They're just, nighttime seems to be the time. And you can catch some dandies at night. But blues are a whole different ballgame, though, so.
But okay, so explain to me how they're a different ballgame.
Blues feed whenever
they want, right?
Yeah, I mean, they move and feed during the day, during the night. Like, now, get me, summertime, it gets real hot. You have the dog days. Mm-hmm. That changes a lot of stuff. They start feeding more in the evenings. If they're going to feed, that's the problem. If they're going to feed, then they'll feed in the evenings or early mornings. Right off the bat. But during the hot time of the day, you can catch one or two, but nothing like you can in the evenings.
And they'll move water where they're at too.
Right.
Like, especially if it's really hot outside. I mean, they'll go deeper.
Yeah.
So there's certain times a year that it's just better to fish for catfish off the bank than others. We're coming up on a pretty good time because, I mean, all the shad is pushing up shallows, so those catfish are going to be right up there with them. So it's a good time to be a bank angler because, I mean, hell, a lot of the catfish boats are going to be going fishing shallow anyway.
Yeah. I try to find any kind of a drop off that comes up onto a shelf, a sandbar, and fish off that sandbar that's only about 2 foot deep. Put a big bluegill or big shad out there alive on the bottom and just let it go. In the evenings like that, them fish move in that shallow water. And I've actually witnessed blue cats and flatheads hitting my bait in about a foot of water, and they make a giant explosion in the water, and you hear it, and then your line takes off. It's pretty exciting.
That's crazy.
The closest to topwater action you're gonna get with bass or with catfish.
Catfish.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So there's nothing with like their eyes that they see better or anything at night. It's just that's when the big boys eat. Sometimes
I don't think there's anything with their eyes with the better time. I've never ever even heard anyone ever mention that.
Yeah. But
I heard a lot of catfishing happens at night during the summer months because, well, it's especially in the South because no one wants to be out fishing during the day. Like when it's 100+ degrees outside and high humidity, no one wants to go out during the day. So you're going to go out at night.
Right.
So that's why a lot of people associate catfishing with night fishing, because a lot of it is done at night. At least in the South, anyway. I can't speak for
Growing up,
the
the 1 or 2 times that we went out catfishing as kids, it was at night. It was midnight, and it wasn't sure if that's when it was best to go, or if we just did that because that was the easiest time to sneak a couple beers into the boat as a teenager and get out fishing. I don't know. Not that I would have ever done that. I would never drink underage or bring alcohol on a boat underage. That would just be silly. I would never have done that. But I heard Chief, you brought up bluegill, using bluegill for baits. So the next question on the True and False game, you kind of already answered it, but we'll do it. We'll play the game. Do you need stinky baits to catch catfish? Go ahead, fish.
No, that's why I like chicken. All right. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah, no, this is where I wanted you to talk about your chicken.
Okay, so like I said, I give Chief a hard time, but one of my favorite things to use is chicken a lot of times or garlic chicken. I call it my grocery store baits. There's a few. I mean, a lot of people like chicken, and you can put garlic in there. Some people put Kool-Aid, grape, or strawberry, or whatever. Some people use hot dogs. A lot of people swear by hot dogs. All you have to do, go to the store, buy yourself the cheapest package of hot dogs you can get. Probably even those red ones, whatever those are, if you want. Cut into whatever size you want. Half of it, quarter of it. And if you want, even some people will throw garlic and Jello on that as well. And it works. Those are baits that will definitely 100% catch fish. They may not stay on the hook as good as like a big chunk of shad or something, right? Or there's a lot of people use what do we call it for channels? Sorry, I got a cat climbing up my leg. Chick gizzard.
You just can't keep the pussy off of you, can you? It's amazing.
I can't, right? She's right here. Here, will you do my job for me? No. Yeah. Oh, this is bad. Okay, so chicken livers. A lot of people use chicken livers. I'm gonna say that works, especially if you're going after channels. They're just harder to stay on the hook. I mean, they're a really good bait if you can get it to stay on the hook. There's things you can do with like pantyhose and drying and whole processes to make them stay on. I'm not an expert, but I can tell you chicken works. I can tell you like thighs or breasts or whatever you can find on clearance. Garlic. I've used strawberry jello chicken. That works. It is going to make a mess, and it's going to get on your equipment. Yeah. And if there's any turtles in your water, turtles love, or little bluegill or turtles. That's the downside about using some of these store baits. Turtles and bluegill and all these other fish love, especially hot dogs. So you're gonna be going through a lot more bait, but it's cheap, it's available. Not everyone can throw a cast net or has the time. A lot of these baits are stuff that you can prep ahead of time and throw in the freezer. So you not having bait isn't going to be an excuse, right? I will say, disclaimer, you're going to go fishing with raw chicken. Make sure that you also bring hand sanitizer. You have to be very careful if you're going to be eating or drinking anything, which a lot of people like to drink or eat while they're fishing.
What?
Use hand sanitizer. All right. It's raw chicken. Salmonella is a thing. But I can tell you from experience, I've caught some monster catfish on chicken. This year, my two biggest came on chicken. One was like 36, 37 pounds, and one was right under 53 pounds.
And both catfish came from a chicken factory.
Yeah. Both of them, they like to feed on chicken. And they're just garlic chicken. So it can catch. I've caught tons of channels and tons of blues on chicken. I've never caught a flathead on it, but I really very rarely catch flatheads, so I'm sure it would work. But don't let not having, like, I don't want to go spend $1 billion on fresh bait, or I don't have a cast net, I don't have time to go out and get shad. Don't be a reason. Or you can bring it with you and just bring a little bit, and bring your throw net. least you have some bait to start with, some guaranteed bait, and you can
Right.
always. And if it bring a little cooler, bring your chicken. You have guaranteed bait. If you go there and you can't find the shad, you can still fish. So,
So I have a very this you're gonna think I'm trolling you with this question, but it's a legit question. Why raw chicken? Like, what happens? Have you ever tried grilling the chicken and then using grilled chicken? And I'm not trying to be a smart ass there. Like, I'm being serious. Does cooked chicken work the same as raw chicken?
Oh, let me ask you a question back. Does cooked shad work better than live shad?
No, I mean, never used a shad. I don't know.
Oh, well,
but it's chicken.
Go ahead, Fish. You can answer that. This is yours.
Oh, why are you making me answer?
Because you're the one that uses chicken. You chicken?
Right. Yeah.
If I'm gonna cook it, I'm gonna eat it. But no, it's gonna be different. I mean, the reason they're coming in is they're smelling the oils and everything off the raw chicken, right? It's gonna change. And I'm gonna tell you this: cooked chicken is not gonna stay on your hook nearly as well as raw chicken.
True. No, that part's true. So now I'm gonna challenge you a little bit because you said they're smelling the oils. So I'm go back to the true or false question we asked. Do you need stinky baits?
It doesn't have to be stinky to have a scent trail.
Yeah,
it stinks.
Yeah, skipjack are very oily, and they leave an oil.
It's the oils and stuff that really do it. And don't get me wrong, stink baits really work, especially if you're going for channels and stuff. Like, stink baits can be very effective for channels. I don't know about blues or anything else, but I mainly think of channel cats when I'm thinking stink bait. And that's what a lot of people like to target if you're going to go eat catfish. There's some of the better tasting. Where I like to kind of target the monster catfish a lot of time. I think that Chief is kind of the same way. He's going after the big ones. But if you're going out to eat, Chief can back me up. You don't want anything over 8 pounds, right? Like anything under that is going to taste better. Like anything over that, I'm gonna release. And even at that, 5 to 6 is probably.
And I hate to say it, but it's just like deer. Would you rather have a fawn, a young deer, or an older deer? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's the same thing with the fish.
Yeah, for sure. And I would absolutely take the younger deer. They're better to eat. They're more tender.
But it breaks my heart when I see people taking like giants out. I'm like, it's okay. I mean, I can't really say anything. If you're following the law, you're following the law. I can't get mad at you. But I want to leave those monsters for breeding stock. Like I want those genetics in the water. But that being said, you still need to cull some of the smaller ones out of a lot of these areas and eat them too, because too much competition. I mean, but I try to leave the monsters back in the same waters I got them. Take a picture. You don't need to kill the fish nowadays to get them out if you want that.
True.
So CPR, catch, photo, and release.
Right. A lot. Technology just came a long way. You used to have to kill the fish if you wanted them out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't. I mean, it's a process and it's expensive.
But it is expensive. That's what I was going to say.
Right?
You're going to pay.
So talking about live bait, the only bait I've ever used for catfish, because I've said once or twice already, I just don't have the experience, was bullheads. Chief, you brought up bluegill. I know there's somebody else using bluegill tonight. Is it any small like game fish like a perch or a crappie or
goldfish if it's legal in your area?
Yeah, you can use shiners, big shiners that they sell at the bait shops. If you can get a great big shiner, then you're getting
shad.
Shad.
Hold up. Hold up. Look, we gotta back this ass up like Juvenile for a second. When you talk goldfish, are you talking like goldfish that you would buy in a store, like a pet store?
Same thing, but there's these fish places that you can go buy your fish. Live bait net do have goldfish too.
No kidding.
Yeah,
you might want to look at that. Certain states it might be illegal to release these waters.
I guarantee it. Yeah, I guarantee it's illegal in Minnesota because
check with your local.
They don't let us have any fun.
Yeah, first of all, it's the same way, and let me explain to you real quick, guys. Certain states do not allow you to use bluegill or crappie for fishing.
Yeah,
Make sure you check your regulations before you do it. Very important on that. I don't want to see any of you go out there and sit there and say, well, Chief Fox and Baxis and Fish Talker told me I could use it. No, that's...
Yeah, check your... Because I even know here in Texas, we're pretty lenient on most things. But even there's some states that if you catch it on a rod and reel, you can use it as bait. And from what I understand, crappie can be some of the best catfish bait. I can't use crappie because it's a game fish here. So bluegill is not considered a game fish in Texas.
Really?
Yeah. So
everything is considered a game fish in Minnesota.
Even suckers, right?
So we can use carp,
we can use suckers,
bluegill, shad, but we can't use crappie. Even if you caught it, I don't know. I don't know what states they are, but some states, if you catch it on a hook, you can use white bass. You can use, as long as you catch on a rod and reel, you can use it as live bait or even bait.
Thing that I found out with bullheads, fishing with small bullheads. If you have a place where you can pick them up with a little night crawler and catch them, it works out really good. You clip the dorsal fin before you use it as bait. And the reason I say that is because all your game fish, whether it's a bluegill or whether it's a crappie or a bullhead, a channel cat, a small channel cat, a small blue cat, small flathead, they all have fins and they're sharp. When they're little, they're very sharp. So
the ones are always the ones that get me.
When a catfish comes up and takes that bait that is a sharp finned fish, they will hold it in their mouth until it dies. And then them quills relax after the fish dies, and then it turns the fish and swallows it whole. Head first. Almost all your game fish do that. Muskie are exactly the same way. So, like, if you have a softer type fish, like suckers and stuff like that, you will get a strike, and a lot of times they take the bait instantly. But when you're fishing for catfish and you're using that kind of bait, you want to give them a little bit to go a little bit further. You want them to get that bait and turn it and kill it and then swallow it. So
interesting. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I have no shame in my game. All the few times I've gone out with Soggy to go fishing and we use not bluegill, we used bullheads as bait. I made him bait my hook every time. I was that guy. I'm like, I'm not touching that thing because
got the full service, the full guide service right there.
yeah. Well, these guys, it's like fear factor, okay? These guys have no fear. They've got a freaking, like those little minnow buckets that have the little flappy door on it, right? And they just stick their hand inside this little minnow bucket with a whole bunch of bullheads swimming around and grab one. And I'm like, hell no. My luck, I'm going to stick my hand in there. I'm going to get stung instantly. And then I'm going to be laying on the rocks crying because I'm in pain.
Have you gotten stung by a catfish?
No, but we're going to talk about that next. So
small one. Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry. Okay.
But bullheads, they'll get you, right?
Yeah, they will. The small bullheads are the worst. They are totally the worst for stinging you. I mean, and you got to remember something too. Bluegills, when a catfish takes a whole bluegill, what do you do when you pick up a bluegill? You catch it and you put it in your hands to take the hook off. What's the first thing that fish does? It opens up all of its fins. Yeah. Can you imagine it starting down the throat of a catfish and it opening all of its fins up? I mean, it would be disastrous for that fish. So that's why they want to kill that fish before they swallow it.
Kill it just by having it in its mouth? Are they crushing? Are they using their sandpaper?
That their pound per pressure is unbelievable when they squeeze it. You can't squeeze your hand as hard as they can bite down.
Do you want to bet? Is that a challenge, Chief Fox?
Yes, that's a challenge.
I bet you I could throw this football over the mountains.
Yeah, they've got an incredible bite.
Your hands tore up once you put your hand in the big ones. Mouth.
Well, yeah, once that sandpaper, man, it gets you.
It can clamp down hard.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of people
I say
use
that
like
I know what I'm talking
if
about.
you know if you're going after big ones.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a technique to holding the smaller ones. Like there's you get, then that's why this really small ones that tend to get me most is because I'm holding it, you know, their fins are out and you're holding it around the fins, right? So you got a good hold on it. It's the small ones that are just so squirmy that
the small ones I grab from the belly side. Put your two fingers up by the thing, and then your hand is not on the dorsal fin at all.
Yeah, they tried to teach me that, but it was dark, and you know, I didn't bring my night light, so it was dark, and I was a little scared. And I didn't want to reach my hand inside. Yeah, the
slimy.
Yeah. So I just said I would just kind of bat my eyelashes at Soggy and say, "Will you please put my bullhead on?" And then he would
give him a little wink, show him a little skin, and
yeah, well,
you're baited.
He's easy. I didn't have to show any skin. I just had to bat my eyes. So what else other than so pretty much any small little game fish, bullheads, bluegills, crappies, pretty much any like perch. Would perch work? Anything?
Yes. Yeah.
Bass. I mean, they'll eat white bass, largemouth, anything they can get. They're a predator fish.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people think they're just scavengers. They're a predator fish. They go after fish. Like, and that was something I learned when I first started catfish. I'm like, man, they're just scavengers, right? Because you think of stink bait, you think of, you know, just dead baits on there, right? But once I learned there were scavengers, I'm like, oh, it changed the game.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It surprised the hell out of me when I first went with Soggy, and I was like, what, you know, do I need bait? He's like, no, I got bait. I'm like, what's the bait? Bullheads. I'm like, say what? Like I was never. Well, first of all, again, in Minnesota, we can't use most anything as bait other than, you know, minnows and big minnows. So something like a bullhead that I can catch on my own to be able to use that as bait blows my mind because I'm just not used to it. I have 44 years and I've never been able to do that. So the concept of using a live bluegill or a live crappie or a perch or whatever just is so out of my realm. I can't even, so speaking of that, I can't even use it as cut bait. Like if I catch in Minnesota, if we catch a bluegill, I can't keep that bluegill and then cut it up as cut bait. But what
my mind here.
Well, you're right. My question would be, when you're talking cut bait, is cut bait bluegill or cut bait crappie or whatever it might be, is that just as good as a live bluegill? Is it slightly different? Anybody have any opinions on that?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes live bait is 10 times better than any cut bait. Then there's other times that I can catch a shad and do a 45-degree angle cut on it and just use the head and throw it out and boom, they hit it. And I've got live bait out there and they're not touching it. So that's a hard question, which one is better. It's just what they're feeding on during that time. Yeah.
I will tell you this though, like if I'm trying to catch, if I wanted to target flatheads, I was in a flathead area, I'm using live bait. Flatheads tend to like live bait more than cut bait, at least from what I've seen.
I think I've caught as many flatheads on cut bait as I have live bait though too.
Okay,
yes.
See.
Yeah.
That's just what I've heard.
Yeah. I mean, live bait, sure, for predator fish, they like it.
Right.
But there is times that they would rather have the cut bait than they would the live bait. I've had, you know, me and my son out fishing. Maybe he's got both live fish on, and I've got 2 cut bait, and my rods are constantly going off. You know what that's like? You're standing next to a guy, and they catch all the damn fish, and you don't catch a fish. And it vice versa. It switches back and forth. We could be standing on the bank together fishing, and I catch all the fish and you catch none. And maybe we're using even the same bait. It's weird how that happens, but yes, it's
got to experiment. I mean, you got to figure it out while you're out there on the water. That's all it is.
Well, that's easy for you to say because you can use multiple rods. Again,
that's true. Yeah.
For us, well, now that's changed a little bit this year. On certain parts of Minnesota, you can use 2 rods, like on the Minnesota River and certain pools. But if I go catfishing where I would go catfishing, I can only use one rod. So it's
really,
yeah. So I would, in Minnesota, we can only use 1 rod.
Oh, wow.
In the summer, no matter what we're fishing for, except for on the Minnesota River, certain parts of it.
It's the only river, right, in Minnesota? That's the only place you can use 2 rods is certain points of that one river.
Let me ask you, if you're using a rod there, do you have a control law up there on rods that you have to be within so many feet of that rod?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I just wondered because most states do.
Can't use those automatic hook setters either, right?
I don't remember what it is exactly. But most of the time here, you don't run into that sort of problem in the summer. When you're ice fishing, it's different because now we're getting off topic a little bit, but in the winter, you're in your ice fishing, you're either going to put a tip up. That tip up has to be within a certain amount of distance from where you're sitting, or if you're in a fish house and your buddies are in a different fish house and you want to go say what's up, and you walk over there and you don't pull your lines up, now you could be in violation because you're too far away.
How many tip ups are you allowed?
But
I was wonder that. I didn't even think about that. Why can you only have 1 rod, but you can have several tip ups?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
In the winter,
just now thought of that.
In the winter, it's different. When it's ice fishing, you're allowed 2 rods or two lines with a hook. So I can be jigging with 1 rod and have a tip up outside. That's my 2 lines. Or I could just be sitting somewhere and I could have 2 tip ups. Or I could be sitting and having 1 with a bobber and 1 that I'm jigging. So you're always allowed 2. And when I'm spearing, your spear is technically 1 line. So you can be fishing in your spear hole for perch or bluegill or whatever it might be with a rod and reel and hold your spear. Now that's your 2nd line. So when I've got my sucker minnow down for spearing, it's in a triangle harness. There's not an actual hook, so it doesn't count as an actual hook or line that I'm using to try to catch a fish. So far off topic.
I just wondered why you get, that's kind of weird because all the states that I'm at usually are 2. I think Texas, you said it's unlimited. Is that correct?
There's a limit, but yeah, I think there's a hook limit, and there are certain like the big bodies of water with I'm fine. There are certain like local ponds or whatever that have stipulated only 1 or 2. But the big reservoirs that I fish, yeah, I'm good. Because you'll see, like in Texas, you'll see like spider rigging for crappie is a big thing. I don't know if you've seen it. I mean, the catfishermen kind of do the same thing off the back of the boat. Have you seen the back of the boat with catfishermen? They got rods out everywhere. With crappie fishing, it's just off the front, and then you're just trolling. So, I'm not 100% sure on how many hooks. I think it's like 50 hooks or something, but.
Well, that's what I was going to ask him. How many hooks are you allowed on your tip up? Are you allowed more than 1 hook on a tip up rod?
Allowed? Probably. On a tip up, I don't know that you would ever use more than a treble hook, like 1 treble hook. But I suppose you could do some sort of a harness. I don't know anybody that does that, but.
Okay. I just figured if you're down to just 2 poles, maybe they're like on a 2 hook thing too. You can only have 1 hook on each rod.
Oh, we definitely have laws about that. I don't know them well enough to regurgitate them right now, but yeah, there's definitely certain types of hooks that we can't use that everybody else can use in other states.
Yeah.
All right. So getting back on track with catfish, next true and false question, which we've kind of already talked about. but we're gonna bring it up because I think it's something that for me growing up catfish, I always had one assumption, but will catfish whiskers sting you?
Whiskers? No,
Whiskers.
no, their whiskers won't sting you. Their fins.
I wanted to get some kind of turmoil here. No, they do. Whiskers do not sting you.
You will get it.
Growing up, that I always thought that the whiskers were what stings you, and that's why one of the reasons I was afraid of catfish, which is why I wanted to add this question in there, because I think it's out there as a misconception that the stingers are going to sting you, or the whiskers are going to sting you. We call them stingers. Growing up, we called them stingers. We didn't call them whiskers.
I mean, Chief, I bet Chief has heard this a lot. A lot of people think they're poisonous too. The freshwater ones.
Yeah,
they're not.
No.
There's some saltwater ones, if my understanding is correct, that might be able to inject some poison into you. But the freshwater ones, no. But you do have to worry it's gonna hurt, and you're gonna probably swell up. The big thing you have to worry about is infection, honestly. So make sure you clean it.
You're talking when the fin punctures you, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's a defense mechanism. I mean, they'll get you.
So here's a little fun fact that I found today. If you get punctured by one of the fins, you're supposed to rub the wound on the belly of the catfish.
Yeah,
and apparently the slime takes away the sting, and the pain goes away.
Yes, they claim that. I don't know if that's true.
Sign.
Well,
I ain't doing that.
Oh no! Whoa! You can't just say I'm not doing that. I mean, this is for science, fish. The next time you catch a catfish, you need to just poke right in the meat of your thumb, and then rub it. Then rub it. Wax on, wax off. Rub the bottom, rub that belly, and see if it takes the sting away and takes your pain away.
So a clip of me rubbing a fish on the internet would definitely not be good.
It sounds like a TikTok to me.
Right.
But it's Mythbusters. It's for science. We need to know if that's true. Yeah, if it's true or not.
Well, I'll tell you what. If we ever go fishing together, we catch a catfish, come by me. I'll sting you, and you can rub the catfish.
The bad part of it is he would do it, though.
Do it? You'd be afraid to touch the catfish.
No, I think he would definitely do it.
I want to see what would happen if you got him around like a 30-plus pound catfish.
I was around a 30-pound. I was with when Buster caught his. Mine that I caught this year with Sagi was yours was bigger. Mine was 19.
That's a nice one. Those were flatheads, right?
Yeah.
Now, are you as scared as the big ones, or is it just the small bullheads that you're afraid of?
Well, see, when I caught my big one, the 19-pounder, I'm gripping it from the bottom of the inside of the lip or the mouth, right? But it scared me. I wasn't worried about the whiskers or anything. I wasn't worried about getting stung, but it started wiggling and it started hurting my hand. And then the tail may or may not have gotten caught in the fire that we had built, and there may or may not have been some embers on its tail that we may or may not have had to try to knock off.
It
was fine. It swam away strong. But yeah, no, I wasn't afraid of it.
Curious, because
I wasn't about to
big old catfish up on your shoulder to take a picture. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, you catch a big old catfish. You gotta throw it on your shoulder, right, Chief?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't do that. I wasn't.
It's time.
Yeah, there will be a next time. I'm sure there will be a next time.
Once you catch your first big catfish, I think it's hard to not want to go back and do more.
I think if I could get him to come here in January with his boat, we could get him a hog.
With my boat?
Oh, hell yes.
But I'm in Minnesota. My boat, it's like a bear. It hibernates during the winter.
That's what I'm saying. See, that's your problem. You need to come south and be able to fish during the winter.
Well, I'm sure I could actually make that happen.
Gotta know someone with a boat near him.
Yeah, right. I'm not
Come
hauling
on.
my boat all the way down to Kentucky. You out of your mind?
Just buy a boat, Chief.
Yeah, just
buy a boat.
call up Sea Arc Boats. Let's go.
Yeah.
Call us.
Yeah.
Get that boat.
I
Get it
want
going.
the one you helped design.
That's right.
They'll
That's
probably
right.
set you a good deal.
Yeah, they'll give me a good deal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know that I would sign up for automate, like, even for science, to have a catfish puncture my skin just to test out the rubbing it on the belly. I would do it if it happened, but that's about it. It's like
it's
like saying,
like, oh, I just got stung. Let me rub the catfish.
if it happened, I would try it, because why wouldn't you? If you're in pain, I'm gonna try it.
I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I'm stung by, like, it's usually the smaller ones, my first instinct is to want to just hug that thing.
Oh yeah,
probably not the right thing, but it hurts.
Oh.
But yeah, my first instinct would be to throw it, not to rub it.
Well,
I've resisted the urge every time it's happened. I've let it go. Nice, everyone, Karen out there, but I'm not gonna lie, it hurts.
Well, next time it happens, give it a shot and then report back.
No.
Why? What's wrong with rubbing the belly of? But what? It's
not gonna rub any fish on stream.
Do it off the camera.
Just move your hands below the camera thing and rub it real quick, and then
because that'll look good to me. Just
move your hands below the camera.
That's right.
And start rubbing.
I'm rubbing the fish.
Oh my god!
No, I ain't gonna do this. This is not gonna work. It's not a good idea.
Somebody's got to try it, because we need to know if it actually works or not.
Like, has anyone heard this on Twitch? There's no way.
I don't know.
Fish is getting big. It's like its belly rubbed already.
All right. So, do catfish have a good sense of smell, taste, and sound?
I need to answer that.
Yeah, somebody needs to answer. We can't have dead air.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to. Yes, they do. So you're probably your best thing is vibration sound for fish. That is probably the biggest attraction to fish. And yes, the oils. We talk about the oils. So they do have a smell, and they can follow that scent trail. They 100%. That if you are, and I've done it so many times drifting, you take your bait and you move your bait up and down in that column of water, and them fish will actually follow it. So yeah, they definitely do.
What I found interesting is when I was reading up and doing the research on catfish, because I know nothing. Their taste is actually quite incredible, and I don't know if you've ever heard this, but they say they call them the swimming tongue. And what I read was the small channel cat can have up to 250,000 taste buds all over its body. It's not just in its mouth; it's all over its body.
Mm-hmm.
That seems crazy to me. Can you imagine having taste buds all over your body? It would be like, I kind of want to be a catfish, because it seems like if you had 250,000 taste buds all over your body, it's like every day on ecstasy, I would imagine. Not that I've ever had ecstasy.
Until you step in a pile of dog crap, and then and then it's not a good thing. I'm just
thinking about a skunk, a cow manure, any of that kind of stuff. Deer poop.
Yeah, but there's not that stuff in the water. The fish isn't stepping in any poop.
No, they're swimming in it.
But the thing of it is, you said if
you said you.
You said you. So you're a human, and could you imagine you're gonna step in poop once in a while, and man, that's gonna be horrible, Vexless.
Maybe the taste buds aren't on my feet. They're just on my arms and legs and hands. Not hands. I don't want to taste anything that I'm touching. That would be so weird. That'd be so weird. I can't imagine having taste buds all over your body. It'd be crazy. swimming
I
tongue.
don't know where to go from that.
The swimming. Well, we're gonna go to talking about their. So we talked about their taste. We talked about vibrations. What about ears? True or false? Catfish have external ears. This is a tough one. Now, don't answer too quick. Give it some thought and don't Google it. Either one of you can't cheat. Do catfish have external ears?
Googling it.
False.
I'm sitting
the catfish
looking at
expert.
chat. Do they have ears? No, they have vibration.
Fish have ears. Other fish have external ears. Do catfish have external ears? This is the question. True or false?
No, false.
So Chief says no. Chief says false.
I want to say no, but I feel like it's a trick question. So just to be different, I'm going to say yes. But I really don't.
The answer is false. They do not have external ears, unlike other fish that do have external ears. And the difference is the catfish is
ears.
Well, all of them. Apparently, other than the catfish, because catfish, their inner ear is connected to the swim bladder by a series of small bones, where other fish, their inner ear is not connected to the swim bladder. Now, what that has anything to do with hearing, I have no idea. But the question is, do they have external ears? And the answer is no, because their swim bladder is connected.
So what you got to do, you guys that are sitting out there on the boat, Vexus, and got the radio cranked all the way up, the tunes, them fish underneath of you can hear that.
Oh, baloney.
It's going to go for that. So
that's what everyone's grandparents or parents told them as they're young. You got to be quiet. The fish will hear you. That's just because your parents wanted you to shut up.
No, that's not completely false. Again,
no, the wife just said thanks for that info.
With ice fishing, if a tip up goes up, we were always taught to not run across the ice or the snow to get to the tip up. You have to kind of take your time because you might spook that fish. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I see it spearing all the time. I might see a pike in the hole, or even any fish, could be perch or bluegill or a bass or whatever, and some jackhole goes past on a snowmobile at 85 miles an hour. That vibration definitely is.
I would think
felt by that fish. They take off.
I would classify vibrations different than just talking, though. Right? You're talking running on ice, or as opposed to just talking or playing the radio. That's different in my mind. Maybe I'm wrong.
True. No, I don't.
I mean, if that was the case, no one that ever live streamed fishing would ever catch a fish, unless you just want to have nothing but dead air the whole time.
You could have an ASMR stream.
Oh, you could have ASMR.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Know someone at deer hunts with one.
Yes. All right. Next, true or false question. Catfish here at 20 to 1,000 cycles per second. True or false?
To be honest with you, I do not know that answer.
Good answer.
True or false question?
That's a true or false question. The answer is false.
I would say it'd be more than that, 1,000.
Yes. The answer, most fish are at 20 to 1,000 cycles per second. Catfish, on the other hand, are around 13,000 cycles per sound or per second. So what I'm kind of going for here is a lot of people kind of, they talk down on catfish and catfishing and fishing for catfish. And what I'm learning is not only can they put up one hell of a fight, but they're actually pretty freaking cool fish. They're smart fish. They have things that other fish don't, that have made them adapt. And that's pretty freaking cool. And I had no idea. And if people in chat are saying they're tasty too.
A lot of people love catfish.
I've never tried catfish. I've never eaten a catfish.
I'm not a huge fan. I need to do like a catch and cook again on some channels. But I heard they're really good fried, like a little po' boy sandwich, catfish or
tacos, fish tacos. I think they might go for that.
Try to go for catfish fillets every weekend. or every Friday. It's like,
I know they're good because there's some of the I don't know how to say this without getting canceled. There's some grocery stores around here that cater to certain populations that you can go in and you can find.
They're ethnic.
They'll have like live catfish in tanks, like tilapia, catfish, all kinds of live fish. You're like, oh yeah, I want that one, and it's crazy. I'm like, wow, okay.
Ethnic grocery stores. We get it.
Yeah.
All right, so Chief, now this one's kind of mostly for you because you're the blue cat guy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you identify the difference between blue cats and channels by counting the rays on the anal fins? Okay. So you had a 50-50 shot, so you got it right. But do you know how to tell or what the difference is?
Channel cats have less than the blue cat.
It's true.
And I think it's like 30 is the cutoff line, if I remember right. I think 30 is the cutoff line.
It's shaped a little different too. Those bottom ones.
Yes. Yeah. They're definitely shaped a little bit different. But if you count each one of them fins, that's the only true way that you can tell the difference. You know, if you have a blue cat, but if you get a channel cat and a blue cat, very small when they're young, they are very hard to tell the difference. If you get, I've had a lot of people tell me they'd have a channel cat holding it and saying it's a blue cat, and it's not a blue cat. You can tell just by the fins. So yeah.
It's not so hard once the blue cats start getting a lot bigger.
Right?
Bigger, yeah.
Is 30 the cutoff line, or am I?
Yeah,
no,
you're right. Blues have 30 to 36, and channels have 24 to 29.
Okay, all right.
Channels get a little older; they'll get a little more speckled and looking.
Correct. Yep, you'll see the black spots on
it.
Them.
Is. I will give it. It is hard. I've had some hard times, especially when I first started, catfishing a lot more. Tried it those smaller ones. You're like, is this a blue or is it a channel? Yeah. You're like, okay, well, I got to remember how many fins. Okay, what is the shape? Okay.
So we're going to pivot. We're still talking catfish, but we're going to pivot to something a little controversial. Dun, dun, dun. We like to bring up controversy, whether it's anal fins, anus oil.
Controversial? Oh, Chief.
I don't know.
I found anus oil in the grocery store, and I bought some. And my wife's like, "Why did you put this in the cart?" I'm like, "I need it.
Have to have it. This is a must-have."
I bought it.
Kelly,
found
we
it at Walmart.
Him to change.
I bought it. So we'll see.
Wait, you're gonna use it with your bait?
Yes.
I'm gonna try it with some carp bait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't opened the box yet, but I got some anus oil.
There we go. So the controversial topic that we're going to discuss is noodling. When I think catfish, I can't think of catfishing without thinking about noodling for catfish. And it's a controversial topic. Why? I have some thoughts. I would like to know what your thoughts are. But it must be controversial because it's not legal everywhere.
Legal here.
It is legal in Texas.
Legal here, Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah. Legal here too.
And it's legal in Kentucky. It is not legal in Minnesota. But it is legal to our neighbors to the east in Wisconsin. Because Wisconsin gets to do everything and we don't get to do anything. We hear about it all the time, how Wisconsin's so cool.
I think the only reason that is so controversy is because of the spawning. When they get them like this is in the spawning time of the year. So they're pulling them off their eggs. And this is where you get the fishermen, like your pole fishermen versus your noodling fishermen. And it gets... I'm going to tell you, I've seen it really get into major arguments, screaming matches. And you got to weigh them too, because they're taking the large catfish that are on the eggs, protecting them off of them, and then they're getting eaten by other fish. and they take the fish with them. So yeah, it's big issue right there.
That is the controversy. And as a matter of fact, it used to be legal in Missouri. Missouri was one of the states. And for everybody counting, it is legal in 16 states right now in the United States. We've got, I'll list them off: Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Illinois, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, North Carolina, which surprises me because North Carolina's fishing rules are more strict than Minnesota. Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, West Virginia, Wisconsin. Missouri was legal, but now is illegal in Missouri.
I'm gonna go with that falls into my personal category of just because it's legal doesn't. There's no way in hell I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, right.
Not from like they're pulling it off the the eggs and all that. From have you ever been in the South? There's snapping turtles, beavers, water moccasins.
Yeah.
I
Well,
ain't
the thing
sticking my
is,
hand into no hole
supposedly,
that I can't see where it is. I ain't doing it.
supposedly snapping turtles go in face first. All right, supposedly. I'm not going to test it, but
No.
that's what I'm saying. Supposedly, they go straight in with their head facing inwards, and they back out when they come out. So here's the problem. I'm not going to test it. Yeah, but also what you're talking about with the eggs and that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys know it or not. It's not the female protecting the eggs.
Correct.
I don't know if you guys are aware of that. It's the male.
The big
The male
males
is the only ones that protect the eggs. The females will eat the eggs if they stay there. So the male runs the female off, and he takes over the eggs. And it's kind of weird. A lot of people don't realize that, but it's the male that takes care of the eggs.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And that's what the noodlers are targeting, is those large males. And that I think that, like Chief is saying, that's where the controversy comes in, because those big ass males that everybody wants to pull out with their hand are protecting those eggs.
Yep.
So in 2001,
some people may not understand what it is. Should we explain what noodling is?
Oh yeah. So noodling is when fish. You go ahead. I
can't. I mean, short and dirty of it. You're sticking your hand into a hole, and the catfish is biting it, and you're pulling it out. You're the bait.
You're
the bait, and you're grabbing onto that. That catfish grabs onto you. You grab onto it, and you try to pull it out of the hole.
He's protecting eggs, and he will bite anything that gets near that.
You're the bait.
Your finger is the bait, and the hook is technically the catfish's mouth, because it's going to grip onto your hand. And if you're, depending on where the hole is, you might have 2 or 3 people. I'm not going to say guys, because I've seen probably just as many females noodling as guys. It is not only dudes are crazy enough to do this. No, I've seen plenty of females doing it. But you'll have people standing, say, on the side of wherever that catfish is hunkered down, so it can't escape out the side, and the only place there is.
I know it's really big in Oklahoma. They just recently, within probably the last 5 or so years, I could be wrong, but I remember when it changed, made it legal in Texas. But it's been big in Oklahoma. They have big noodling tournaments and all kinds of stuff.
Let me ask you a question. Has any of them states got alligator snapping turtles? Louisiana.
Texas does.
I would say Louisiana and Texas. Mississippi.
Well, here's the thing. The first time I seen an alligator snapping turtle was in northern Florida while we was fishing a catfish tournament, a flathead tournament. And I'm going to tell you that its head was that big. I couldn't even imagine even having my hand near that kind of a head.
It will take off fingers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Nope.
There have been deaths from people noodling because they're locking arms with a Lord knows how many pounds or how big that catfish is, and that catfish is not letting go because it's protecting its eggs. It's not letting go of your hand, and if it's too big and you can't pull it out and it's stuck in there, you ain't getting up. You don't have scuba gear on. It's going to keep you held under. And there's been plenty of people that have perished to the old noodling.
I'd have a heart attack before that would happen.
I mean, then you're under the water, right? So then you also have to contend with people's fishing line and hooks and stuff. You could easily go down to go for it and get hooked in someone. No, it happens all the time here. Like in the lakes, like people drown every year. Like they'll jump down to go swimming and they'll never come back up because I mean they'll get hooked in line and hooks and everything. And
that's why you can't. So I have many rules about the South, and most of my rules are you can't go swimming in the South because you can't, because every thing of water in the South has some sort of flesh-eating bacteria amoeba because the water is so freaking hot because it's so hot there. So you cannot go swimming in the South. You can't. You just can't. You're going to catch some sort of tapeworm or some sort of amoeba, and then you're going to be on the show Monsters Inside Me. It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Monsters Inside.
What do you think of the South?
Oh my God.
But yeah,
it's always the South because the water is so hot.
Pools. Yeah.
That's where where they are.
Oh my Lord.
And sharks and snakes
but when
and
it's
alligators
115 degrees outside, you don't care. You're jumping in.
Oh, I'd care.
Alligators.
I watched that show Monsters Inside Me way too much. I ain't setting foot in any little pond in the South. Not happening.
You catch an alligator gar. We got some of those around here.
I'd like to catch one, but I'm not going swimming with it.
You really ain't swimming after.
Oh. So, noodling. We've established fish is not doing it. Chief, would you do it?
No, definitely not. Nope, never.
Okay, so what are the reasonings? What are the reasonings for both of you to say no? Is it because of the danger or because of the ethics?
Danger for me.
Me is the ethics. I mean
ethics. I never even really knew that was a thing. But
I think when it's spawning, it's like bass. A lot of states, you're not allowed to target any bass over a bed. So why would you let someone go in and take a catfish off of a bed then?
Bass fishermen are notorious for fishing beds here in Texas.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people do it all the time.
Well, I can tell you, Pennsylvania has a strict law on that. You cannot fish for bass on their beds. If you get caught, you get fined.
How do you get caught? Prove it.
How do you?
Because if you've got a lake, you've got a small end, a shallow end, you can see the bass sitting on the beds. I mean, and you even cast near that bed, you are trying to take a fish off the bed.
How do I? But if I'm just in my boat, I'm in my boat, minding my own goddamn business, and I'm casting, and I happen to cast where there's a bed. Am I targeting that, or is that a coincidence?
Well, that could be a coincidence, but the problem of it is the conservation officer who's watching you knows where the beds are and can tell whether you're targeting them or not. I mean, so here the same way with us with a wire for trout fishing in PA. We have wires. If you let your line, you're 100 yards upstream and you let out 150 yards of line to get inside that. You can't sit there and tell me, well, I didn't know that my line was down there. No, but you just let out 150 yards of freaking line. So
my defense, if I was in Pennsylvania, this is where we're talking about Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
If I'm in Pennsylvania and a conservation officer comes up to me and says, you are illegally targeting bass on the beds, because I just witnessed you trying to target that bass on that bed. My response to that conservation officer is going to be, but officer, that fish's wife hired me. He's on the wrong bed. He's off at the neighbor's bed. He's not supposed to be on that bed. So she hired me to get him off of that bed and to send him home.
And it worked. Yeah.
And it worked.
By the way, we are not going to be liable for any advice that you take from us if you do get
wrong. I'm telling you, it's very easy to tell when someone's targeting a bed. They're going to constantly cast that one thing and see that fish. Yeah. It's easy. If you was a conservation officer, you'd understand where I'm coming from.
No, I get it. I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm gonna be honest. I'm way too lazy to do that, because even if I see that fish, I'm not probably smart enough to know it's on a bed, so I'm gonna cast at it, and it doesn't bite once or twice. I'm moving on because I'm not patient. I'm too lazy. Like, I'm not gonna keep. It's like, what's the definition of insanity? I'm not gonna keep casting at that fish. That's just silly. But that's just me.
That works on bed fishing. You piss it off enough, and eventually it'll bite.
Joker says we made it to episode 4 until needing a legal disclaimer.
Bad, that's not right. Bad.
We've got an attorney on hold.
Just see the conservation officers that are going to call us next spring and say, "Did you guys have a show and told people that
to say no?
That bass is cheating."
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I bet if you looked at the officer and you told a dead face, him or her, he'd probably laugh.
I would hope
they're like,
so.
You know what? I've heard a lot, but that I have not heard. You might still get the ticket, but they might laugh.
Just come up with something original.
I would definitely laugh. I would probably not even cite him because
that's new. You know? I
mean, heck yeah. I've heard worse stories.
Don't say no, I wasn't doing. You know, you're busted. I mean, you might as well have a good story, right?
My wife made me mad today, so I come out and I'm targeting them fish.
That's right. All right, so I would not noodle. I would not noodle, and I will tell you this. I would have said, before I did this research, I would have said maybe I might try it. I might do it.
But take a bull hat out of a bucket and you would noodle? I'm trying to figure out how your brain works, and I don't understand it.
Because it's kind of screwed up.
No, it's not. It's not screwed. And I said, first of all, I said maybe. I didn't say yes.
Okay, well, you're considering it.
Well, I would have considered it, but the difference is you're reaching into the mouth. You're not getting anywhere near the things that are going to hurt, like sting you or make you painful. I mean, if it scrapes, like my hand is just now recovering from my catfish from 3 months ago. Pretty sure. I've got sensitive hands. What can I say? But I would now say no, because of what I learned about the ethics of it. The fact that they're guarding the eggs. I had no idea that that was the case. I didn't realize that when people are noodling that they're doing it, taking a large male off of the eggs that they're guarding. So for that reason, I would say no, I would not do that right now.
Yeah, I'd agree. I didn't know that part. I wouldn't go because I want to keep all my digits. I did not know that, but with the caveat of, hey, if it's legal in your state and it's something you love to do it. I mean, who am I to tell you? If it's legal, you can do it.
There's a lot of people that have no idea that it's males that are guarding eggs. Either, you know,
so I personally wouldn't, but if someone wants to do it and that's their thing, then do it. Don't let someone tell you can't.
Right.
And just because something's legal, it doesn't mean you have to do it either.
Correct.
Just like I'm not going to go out there and go bow fishing because I have a big thing about killing things that I'm not going to utilize, and I don't want to be eating carp. So I'm not going to go boat fishing. It's legal. I mean,
that's a whole nother topic.
It's a whole nother story, but yeah.
So we have focused pretty much strictly on, we brought up some other catfish, but we focused strictly on the big three: channels, blues, flatheads. There are other catfish in the world. And I would venture to say the catfish around the world put our catfish to shame. Would you agree? Now we're talking Wells, what's the other one? The Mayking.
But you can go fishing. You can go fishing for Wells. I had an opportunity to go Wells fishing, and I didn't go. And I wish now I would have taken that for the TV show. They was going to send us there, but we ended up not going. And I'm going to tell you something: the chances of you catching one of them big Wells catfish is very slim. You're going to have one hell of a guide when you get there that knows where to go and go after them. But, you know, I've used to have people send me pictures of Wells catfish saying, oh, they caught this flathead out of the Missouri River. And I'm like, it's not a flathead, it's a Wells catfish, and it wasn't caught in America. You know?
Yeah.
So You know how they send you the big deer pictures, the great wax, and they're killed out of a pinned-in area. You know what I mean? So that is the same thing. So yeah, I would say if I had my chance, I would definitely go after the Wells catfish. Would be the number one that I'd like to at least hook in. I probably, with my back, I'll never get the fish in because I've watched them guys and they wear themselves out. And these guys are physically fit. I could never bring one in as much as they fight. They're incredible.
We're talking fish that can get what, hundreds of pounds.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Hundreds, not like
easy 400 or 500 pound fish. I mean, real easy.
You know, I always think like Amazon when I'm thinking like monster cool catfish.
Yes.
But I was watching one thing, I forget what it was. I think it was like I remember seeing like catfish and carp on YouTube. They went to Spain, I believe it was, and he was catching monster catfish out of the river. I was like, what? I don't even think Spain when I think monster catfish, but Spain apparently has some monster catfish.
So let me ask you guys real quick a question. This is kind of interesting. Have any of you ever caught a walking catfish?
No.
Look it up real quick, Vexus.
No, the ones that can. I know what you're talking about.
So, yes, walking catfish are a thing here in the United States, and they do cross from pond to pond.
Oh, hell no.
Yes, they will actually walk across ground to go from one pond to the next pond.
It's like a mud puppy?
Yeah, they do a little.
Yep. Yeah.
Like if their water hole's drying up, they'll like, okay, I'm out.
Dave, it's called a walking catfish. If you look it up on, I just Googled it real quick, and it actually shows one walking across the ground.
Like a mud puppy. Actually, I probably have caught a mud puppy. I didn't realize it was a catfish. Crazy.
I don't like to catch them, and you catch them usually. I used to catch them while I was trout fishing. Pick them up, be using like a fly rod with a minnow, a salted minnow for fishing for brown trout net. You get a lot of these walking catfish in northern Pennsylvania like that, and you can pick them up pretty often.
I wonder if that's how they came up with the show The Walking Dead, because it kind of reminded me of that. If I would see one of those things just slothing across the road, I would freaking run the other way and say, Betsy, it's over. Get the guns, get the canned goods. The fish are walking.
And I'd be kind of interested on it's kind of on topic to know from Chief and maybe our people here on Twitch, what is your favorite kind of catfish to eat? Is it a channel cat? Is it a blue? Is it a flathead? Do you have a preference? Does it matter?
Good question.
Because I know a lot of people for eating really love the channel cats. But a lot of people eat blues too and flatheads. So I mean, I don't know. Is there a preference for you, Chief?
Well, to be honest with you, if I was going to eat catfish, I would want the flathead, the small flathead.
Really?
Yes.
That thrown me for a loop.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that answer.
Is it like a more mild tasting? Or?
Well, I think it's better, and for me to sit here and explain it to you is going to be hard because we take them all the time. When we used to catch them and cook them, when we'd have gatherings, catfish gatherings, a bunch of us, and we would cook them, we would take them and fillet them and have sandwiches out of them, put them in the oil and deep fry them with a beer batter. I don't know why, but I think they taste better than other catfish. And I've had them all three at a dinner and tried each one of them, and I still like the flathead better. If I was going to do that, but I catch and release 99.9% of the time.
And very selfishly, because I don't really eat too many fried foods anymore. Anyone in our Twitch or in here that has any recipes of how to cook catfish
or
game
sure.
fish that is not fried, you want to put that in our Discord? I would love y'all. Just throw it out there.
Does Kelly agreed with me? See that?
That's amazing.
Well, Kelly's smart. So.
Well, I think it's Kentuckians joining hands.
Well, she was smart enough to run away from Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So on that same line of thinking, is the meat different from a flathead to a channel to a blue? Meaning, like, I don't know, like, to me, bass is going to be mushy compared to like a crappie where it's more firm. Is catfish a catfish? Is the meat the same? They just taste different, or is it different?
I think there's a taste difference. Now, a lot of people will say, "Oh, I can't really tell the difference." I can.
Sophisticated palate. Okay?
Yeah, I guess.
I think.
I was curious. I mean, I don't know.
Kelly, you agreed with me. I don't know if you can speak on this. She's in chat. She says they taste better, but it's like, I don't know. It just tastes better. You got to try it sometime.
I catch a lot of blues and a lot of channels, but flatheads very rarely.
Right.
So I just don't have enough to really go off of. And catfish, honestly, has never been, I love catching them. Never been my favorite fish to eat. I mean, I got a lot of crappie and white bass and everything around here I like, but I think maybe I'm older now. I need to get a mess of them and bring them home and have some to eat.
Right.
Yeah.
Try it again.
How many different species of catfish exist? Take a guess, both of you. Take a guess.
Shit. I have I'm gonna say a lot. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I can tell you in the ocean there's probably
69.5
different types. So I don't know. I'm gonna say 500, 600.
2,900 different species of catfish exist. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Yes.
That's crazy. And if you could pick, like, even ones that you haven't caught, if you could pick your favorite species of catfish, I'll go first. Give you an example. My favorite species of catfish is red tail. I think they look so freaking cool, and I would love, love, love to catch a red tail catfish because they are freaking awesome.
It's a hard one.
It's a hard one.
So those red tails, I haven't thought about that until you said that. I'm like, oh yeah, or the whales.
They're just pretty
wells, catfish, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the one will bite my hook. I love them all, man. It would be one of the bigger ones though, for sure. Like I love going after blues. Honestly, I've got the addiction to catch the big blues. But maybe that's because I can target them around here, and I don't see a world where I'm going to Amazon anytime soon.
No.
So
unless it's a warehouse to pick up a package.
Blues would be mine because there's more blue cats around here than there is flatheads. But there is certain places in the river that you can go here and just catch flatheads. And I mean, once in a blue moon, you catch a blue, but you can catch the majority of flatheads in certain spots.
That's with knowledge with anything, right? So if you know where to look, you can catch more of them. But.
Yeah.
Interesting. The record catfish. Do we know? Can you guys guess, or do you know the species of catfish that is the champion of the world right now? It is the head honcho, the biggest catfish caught.
Not the whales, I can tell you that.
That's correct.
And I'm trying to think of it, and it starts with
be a blue cat, because whales can get like 400 or 500 pounds. So it's not a blue cat.
No, it's not a rough catfish. I know that, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's not here. Is it in South America?
I will give you a hint. It was in 2005 in northern Thailand, and it was 9 foot long, and it weighed in at 646 pounds.
Man.
To be honest, that just sounds like painful to try to catch.
Oh, it sounds stupid. I would
that's like
Mekong.
Yeah.
The Mekong giant.
Yes. Mekong catfish. Yep.
This is the reigning champion of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine?
No, that doesn't sound like fun. I'm gonna be honest.
No.
I'm not sure I'd want to catch one much.
I don't know how they did.
Pounds, like over 150 would just be like excess, right?
Did it give any explanation of what they was using for bait or what size line or what kind of fishing rod? That would be interesting to me. They catch a 600 and some pound fish. What did they catch it on? Was it a trot line?
Well, hold on.
I can understand.
I've got it right here. I can tell you in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Toddlers, thank you.
Trot line. I think that's unfair to fish with trot lines.
So for the Mekong, they were using. Never gonna believe this. They were using raw chicken.
But what? Yeah,
raw chicken.
Does it say what they were using? Were they using a trot line or was they using a pole? Reeling rod.
A pole with raw chicken, garlic raw chicken.
Chicken ultimate bait.
You're so full of shit.
Chicken ultimate bait.
You are
right
so,
here.
I can see the shit coming
garlic chicken. All right, chicken.
So full of shit. My eyes are brown.
Yes.
That is me.
I almost believed you when you said chicken the first time. And now I'm like, this guy's
it wasn't a slice. It was the whole chicken. Like they just put a whole chicken carcass in there.
It wasn't the breast. It was the whole thing.
It was a whole damn thing.
Cooked. Deep fried.
Cooked. Yeah, cooked.
Deep fried.
Jeez.
Deep fried a whole chicken.
No, because you said you can't. It would taste it. It would make everything different if you cooked it. So you can't do rotisserie chicken. Although I still think you should try. I think you should go get one of those barbecue rotisserie chickens from the grocery store. Take off a chicken wang and take some meat and try it.
We'll eat that chicken while I'm using
wang?
Chicken wang.
Yeah, chicken wang.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Probably thinks that's in the South talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, we'll get Chief to use some chicken at some point. Again. Now, I know you used it. You technically used chicken already.
Yes, I did.
But it's nobody likes a critter.
Really use it.
Yeah, you got to really try. You weren't even trying.
I was really embarrassed using it. I didn't.
Why?
Because if someone would have walked past me or stopped and walked down and seen me using chicken, I would have never heard the end of it.
Chief really understands how popular using chicken for catfish is at this point. It's insanely popular, Chief. A lot of even guides are using it on their
I've never seen a chicken in the water swimming around. I've never.
No. I mean,
that's like taking an alligator out and using it as bait for a deer. Because the alligator,
what if it works?
You're near the deer.
Yeah, but if it works,
what if it works? How do you have no idea? We're getting off topic, but that's okay. Yeah. You have no idea if that deer would actually enjoy the taste of alligator. How would we know unless we tried it? For all we know, it might be like an aphrodisiac for the whitetails, and we're gonna have to go down to Louisiana, see Gamer Mama, take up a couple alligators, and then bring them back to feed for the deer.
And I've heard some theories of why he's like, oh, it doesn't in chicken. One of the theories is especially in waters with mussels, that actually it's very similar to mussels, which the catfish will eat. So, I mean, that's just one of the theories.
Well, I will tell you, one of the biggest things around here is the mussel beds for catfish.
Chicken would work. I'm telling you.
They go nuts over mussel beds. Yes.
Essentially, they're eating little bits of chicken, except it's a muscle.
Yeah, just cut the chicken breast or the raw chicken into smaller chunks and just pretend you're using muscles. It's all in your head. It's all in your head.
Yeah, I know it is. But it's just hard for me to use chicken. That's all.
Oh.
It's the same as using night crawlers for catfish. I never use them. I just never use them for catfish. But it works. I do know it works. Yeah, it definitely works.
For sure. For sure. All right. Well, that was Catfish. That was fun. We had fun. I had fun. I learned some stuff again. That's one of the things I've loved so far about. We're on episode 4 today. I've learned something almost every week. Oh, I have learned something every week. Pickles come from cucumbers. Didn't know that.
And that Vexus really wants to rub a catfish, and not sure why.
Don't want to.
No, that's what I learned tonight.
I don't want to, but if I get poked and penetrated by that catfish, I'm gonna rub it on the belly to get that sting off of my hands. And I can see Fish scrambling to his keyboard to clip that.
Yes.
Oh no.
Good old. Yeah, you gotta rub it.
But yeah, did they clip me rubbing the catfish earlier? Thanks.
Oh yeah,
that's your fault. Right.
I didn't hold any gun to your head. Once again, Cast and Camo TV on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, we are Cast and Camo on Twitch. We are Chief Fox TV on Twitch. We are Fish Stalker on Twitch, and we are Vexus_X on Twitch. We all do a little bit different things, but it's centered around, well, for the most part, hunting and fishing. Chief does a couple of other fun things. But check us out on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, check us out on YouTube. We're going to start posting, at least I am, and I'm pretty sure, Fish, I think you're going to as well. We're going to start posting some of our own personal fishing clips and this and that on the YouTube channel. So definitely check it out and give us a subscribe. And that's what everybody on YouTube does. They do this. They point down to wherever that subscribe button is, subscribe, like, and comment, and watch for that content. We'll be putting it out there, and let's all go catch a 647-pound Mekong giant catfish. How about that? But thanks for coming by, hanging out. Once again, Texas Select Seasoning. Thank you very much, Wild Bill. He will be our guest next week. Thank you very much, Carolina Bass Company.
Next week, make sure you come.
Oh yeah,
we'll have our discount code for Carolina Bass Company soon. You guys save your money there too.
Yep, we will have discount codes for both Texas Select Seasoning and Carolina Bass Company in the very near future, which is super duper exciting. But thanks for coming. Anybody have parting words?
Just come back next week.
Yeah, y'all come back now. You hear? But we appreciate it.
I'm excited for next week, y'all. I really am. Like, if you like cooking fish or game or meats, if you like playing, if you want to watch 3 grown men talk about playing with their meats and cooking it.
And
next week is
putting as much meat in my mouth as possible.
Like seasoning it up.
I love it.
Yes,
love it. All right, well, we're gonna end there. Check us out. We appreciate everybody for coming and for hanging out, and we will see you guys next week when we talk about our meat.
Bye,
everyone.